Hello, welcome to Trisha's Cards and Crafts. I'm Trisha and these are the cards that I'm going to be making today on What's on Wednesday. It looks more complicated than it actually is. It's a simple stamping project because all I've done is stamp on two different coloured pieces of card with two different colours of ink, and then I've just cut them in half diagonally, stuck them together sort of and tied some ribbon around them, and that's all it is. I am going to change it slightly this time because I'm going to put a mat underneath this one, but that's the only difference that's going to happen with that. Right, shall we have a go? I'm using, this is Starry Sky card and ink, and white card and white card and white ink. Now, if you haven't got white ink, I've got Whisper White and I've used mine on a Stampin' Spot. And you need to make sure this is really juicy because otherwise it just won't show up very well on your card because you're using dark card. The other thing, if you've got some gold ink, that would be great, but we don't have it in stock. We're not selling it this year, so I wanted to use things that I've got in my shop that you can actually purchase. So that is the reason why I've used the Whisper White. You can buy either the refill, which is like this, and use an uninked Stampin' Spot, and you can buy those in packs of 5. Or you can get the refill with a full-size pad like this, but I haven't actually got one yet. It's on my way. It's on its way to me at the moment. But you actually need to stamp it. You need to use the ink on it when you get it. It doesn't come already inked, so you have to use the refill when it's delivered. Get my words out today somehow. So that's what you can use. Again, if you've got other inks that will show up onto a dark card, that's great. And you don't have to use these colours. You can use whatever colours you like, so long as you've got two different colours of ink and two different coloured cards. And you want something that's going to be dark enough. If you had, say, a lighter colour card or two different lighter coloured cards that you wanted to use, say you wanted to use a pale yellow and a pale green, you could do it with a darker green that would show up on both, and then you wouldn't need to worry about having two different colours. But that's just another way of doing this card. It's a very simple idea and straightforward, and you don't have to cut it diagonally. You could cut it vertically. You could cut it horizontally, but I think it looks quite effective done like this. What you do need to do is, if you have got a stamping platform, like a Misty or something like that, we did have a Stamparatus, but that's not, it's not available anymore to buy. If you've got one, you could use that. That would be the best thing you could do, because then you can put your cards in place without having to worry where you're going to put the next piece, so that they are exactly stamped exactly in the same place. So what I've done to show you how to get over that problem, I've got two pieces of card. I've got a piece of the Starry Sky and a piece of the Whisper White, and what I've done, I've got a piece of post-it note tape and I'm sticking them so they both stuck together in the same place. What I then did is I stamped the stamp onto a piece of scrap paper, and I cut I cut it out basically of the paper, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick this piece over the top of where I want it to stamp. So obviously that's why I put the post-it note tape down low, because I don't obviously want to stamp on top of that. But that is my little window where I will stamp my card. And the same thing then, I'm going to put it onto the blue, make sure I line it up exactly in the same place as it was on the white, and I will stamp in here. So actually I'm going to do the blue first because I've got the white ink on my pad already. So again, if you could emboss it, you could use Versamark on both, or you could still use the Starry Sky on the one, and you could use a white embossing powder on the darker card, and that would show up even more. But because not everybody will have embossing powder and embossing and a heat gun, I'm doing it this way just so that you can see that it can be done this way, but it would look just as effective. The other thing you could do if you've got it, because I'm going to use a matte at the back of the Starry Sky, if you had gold card, a gold mirror card or a gold foil card, you could use that on the background and then it would actually stand out nicely as well. Now this has I've only inked it just before I came on, so I know that it's nice and juicy and there's lots of ink coming out onto the stamp. The white craft ink does dry up quite quickly, so you do need to make sure you do it with a freshly inked pad. And I've sort of given myself, if you've got some scrap paper to do it on first, I would do that way, just so that you can make sure you line up your stamp in the right places. So I've put some little arrows so that I know, because when I first started, as you can see, I didn't get it quite right. I didn't get them in the right position. So I put some arrows so that I knew where I needed to position my stamp within the window. So if you excuse my head, hopefully this will work okay. So I'm going to try and line up where the writing starts with my arrows, and then I'm just pressing it down. And hopefully we'll get a nice clear impression. There we go. And it's within the window. Do you see what I mean? So that's how I'm doing the stamping. Now I'm going to move this across to here. I'm going to line it up at the top of my white card and to the side. Let's get this in the right place. Don't want that to move. I should have perhaps stuck that down as well. If you can, stick your card to whatever you're going to be stamping on, just so that it doesn't move when you put the mask over the top or your little window. Right, I need to clean my stamp off because I don't want the white on there, obviously. I need to get it off because I'm going to use the Misty Moonlight next, and I don't want, there we go, I think that's clean enough. So I've cleaned all my white off, just about, I think. And I'm going to use my, no, not Misty Moonlight, my Starry Sky. Right, ink, here we go. So here's my Starry Sky ink. Ow, there we go. You could use Misty Moonlight, it doesn't really matter. You could use Night of Navy, they would both look really good with this. But I couldn't find my Night of Navy, so I can't use my Night of Navy. So here we go again. We're going to try and make sure that we line it up in exactly the same place as last time on the blue, but on the white this time with my Starry Sky ink, and hopefully there we go, it is within the window. Okay, so we can now put that away. And now for the next part. So, just taking those off now because I don't need it. And we have two pieces which are hopefully stamped in the same place. Now I'm keeping them together while I cut them. You could put some post-it note tape just to make sure they stay together, but I don't think they're going to move anyway. And I'm going to cut diagonally from corner to corner with my trimmer. There we go. So I'm lining it the corner up diagonally with the gap in the oh dear, where the blade will go. So I'm just going to push that up, make sure it's gone all the way through both of them, and I've got now 4 pieces of card. Right, now I'm going to use, take that off, I'm going to use 1/2 of one with the other half of the other, and hopefully they will go together. So I'm going to put them together. Here we go. So they should be, the 2 points should match, and the writing like slightly out. Doesn't matter. So we want it to match up as near as possible to each other. So that's as close as I think I'm going to get. Again, if you've got a stamping platform, that would be the best thing to use to keep it together. I'm going to do something different to what I did on my original card, because what I did originally, I just put I used my grid paper, and I put I used the ribbon and placed it across here, and I stuck it to the back of these pieces, but I'm going to mat them this time onto another piece, so I can then put the ribbon around that. So I'm going to do that first, so because it'll be easier, because I want to make sure that these stay in place. So you take your adhesive of choice. I'm going to use steel because I want to do it reasonably quickly. Hopefully it will work properly. And down the sides, tip to tip. Oops, it didn't work. Come out, come out. If you need to trim it, you can. Just make sure you trim it while you've got them taped together, so that you trim them together. And I'm putting some in the middle so that they stay together on the card as well, on the mat. So that's my my card's got adhesive on now, and I'm going to put this on here. It should have a small margin all around. There we go. And then you can just press it down. And now I won't need this piece anymore on here, because it'll be stuck to my backing card. And then all I need to do is to stick this onto here. But first of all, I'm going to put my ribbon around the bottom. And what I do is I stick the ribbon in one piece all around, and then I cut another piece and tie it on afterwards. So I want a piece that's just a bit wider than the card base, or the base of the mat. So it'll be just a bit more. Now what I did last time, hopefully you'll be able to see this, but I've got a line across the bottom here, and I turned it over. I'm going to put this 2 squares up from the bottom line. I think you can just about see it. It's too. Let me just move this slightly. Hopefully you can see that now. So there's the bottom line here, and I'm putting it 2 squares above it. And then I'm going to put this over the top on the bottom line, so that I make sure that my ribbon is in the right place. Then I'm going to put some seal, just, whoops, if it'll come out, on there. there, and then I'm just going to fold my ribbon over there. So now I know that's straight. I could have put it a little bit higher, or you can do it whatever you want, but that's there now. I think I might put it a little bit higher on the other one, so we'll put it on the third row. Well, I'm going to just cut a little bit more ribbon. Just another piece, and then put this under there. If you want to, you can put a piece of a little glue dot or something underneath to make sure you keep the ribbon in place, but it's not moving anywhere. I'm just going to tie a knot, if I can get the ribbon through. There we go. So I've got the two ends. I'm just going to pull it. And if it's not quite equal, you can always cut a little bit off. Oops, once you've got it tied. So that is the piece now that's going to go onto the front of my card. So I've got my card base here, a white card base, and that will go on there like that. So I'm just going to use some Tombow now. So I'm going to put it all the way around the edges, and I'm putting it over the ribbon as well, because then I'm going to make sure that the ribbon does not move. So that's my Tombow, and that's going to now go onto my card front, again with a small border of white all the way around. The glittery dots does come off the ribbon, but not that much. It doesn't shed that much. But there we go. So that's my first card. So with these, you can obviously make two at a time. So if you've got a lot of cards to make, this is a nice multiple card making trick that you can use. So now I put them so that they are as near as I can get them together in the right place. Again, like I said, if you've got a stamping platform, that would be the best thing, because then you know you're going to keep them in the right place. So that's that side. Now I'm going to again use my seal, making sure I go from point to point, otherwise they won't obviously stay right at the edge. And then across. Whoa! I've got it on my finger now, I'm sticking to everything. There we go. And then I'm just going to make sure that the middles will stay in place as well. So now my second mat of blue. Again, you could do it on a white mat and put it onto a blue card base, but I'm using white card bases, so A6 white card bases. So that's why I'm choosing to do it this way. And now I can take that off. There we go. And I'm going to put my ribbon on. Okay. There we go. And then I'm going to put this one a little bit further up, so I'm going to put that one on the third square this time. Bring this over and down, making sure that they stay where they were, the ribbon stays where it's put. There we go. And now some seal, if it comes out again, there, and there we go, that'll do. And then over the top and over the top. Let me put that out of the way. So that's a bit better, I think. So now we can stick this onto my white card base. Again, I'm using Tombow, going all the way around, making sure I cover the ribbon. Now I got to tickle again. That's the only problem with these coughs. They don't always want to go away after you've had them. And if you try and hold a cough in, very often you then start sneezing. Oh dear, dear. Right, so I'm now going to put this again onto my white card base. And cut a snip of ribbon off and put it underneath and tie it around. I try and centre it as far as by eye, and do it before I pull the ends tight. Just make sure I've got it where I want it, because you can't move it very easy, especially with the glitter now on this ribbon. It doesn't make it doesn't want to move very far afterwards. So that's my ribbon tied. Like I said, you get little bits coming off, but hardly anything. There we go. So here we go. So there's the 2 cards. I've also got Peace and Joy, which I thought would be nice to put on the inside. And I'm going to do that with my Starry Sky ink. Or Joy and Peace. Not Peace and Joy. Joy and Peace. Oops. Now, I'm going to be careful with this one. Well, there we go. So that's the inside. And I'm going to keep this one very plain. I'm not going to put any other anything else on either the inside of the card or on the envelope, just because I think it's nice just to keep it plain and simple. So I've got my 2 envelopes as well to go with them, and that's my card. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you'll have a go at it yourself, and if you do, please let me know how you get on. You can either put it in the comments, or you could send me a message, or you can go over to my Facebook page and put them on my Facebook page, whichever. It'd be lovely to see if you have a go and what yours turned out like as well. Thank you very much for joining me, and I shall see you again soon. Bye bye.